Welcome to the Blood Angels Commander channel.
Hey, good evening, folks. How is everybody? Yeah, you can hear me okay? Cool. Okay. Good evening. Carrie, it's been a little while. How are you? Good evening to Canada. TM Punk, hello, we've got your list up for tonight. BA Chap, we've got your list up for tonight. Good evening, Juan, and good evening, Adrian. How is everybody? I finished my Redemptor Dreadnought today. This is him. He's not perfect. But I'm pretty pleased with him. Sometimes when you varnish the model, it just like elevates it like another level. And this was a model where I didn't really know what to expect when I varnished, because I haven't really done that many big black models before. The only other vehicle I've got that's in black is an Impulsor, and I haven't finished that. I did a bunch of... I guess I did my Captain on a bike and my Chaplain on a bike in black. But this is like the first guy I've done in black. And yeah, when I put the varnish on him, he felt awesome. So I'm really pleased with this Redemptor. I just need to know if there's a way I can convert this arm, so I have the option of running him as a Brutalis. Just because I don't really want to have to buy two Brutalises, and I don't. I guess we'll see. I've got 3 Redemptors now, 3 finished Redemptors. Yeah. This guy took me ages though. I'm really pleased with him. Thanks for the comments. I had some nice comments. Someone actually asked me on Twitter. They're like, "How do you do your black?" I was like, "It's just Abaddon black." I just edge highlighted. That's it. Do you know about any animations with Leviathan Dreadnoughts in them? No. The only animation I've seen of Blood Angels was Angels of Death last year in Warhammer Plus, and it definitely didn't have Leviathan in it. Cool. Okay, let's get into some lists. We're always here on a Sunday night to look at lists. Foz might join later, so we might catch his list afterwards. Let's start with some lists from people that are here in the chat. So we've got Blood Angels Chaplain. He's here in the chat. Let's check his list out. So this is is this a 1500 point list, or have you got another detachment? It looks like a 1500 point list. This is a very verbose list. I don't know why your list is so verbose, but yeah, okay. So we'll have to make heads and tails of it. So we've got a Gravis Captain with a Burning Blade. God, I don't even know what the Burning Blade does. I think it's strength plus 3 minus 5, 2 damage. Yeah, it's been a while since... I mean, nobody uses the Burning Blade. I think if you want to upgrade him to a Relic Sword, I'd probably recommend you use the... strength plus 3 minus 5, 2 damage. Yeah, that's what I said. You've got a good memory, apparently. I think you should use the Blood Angel specific one, whatever it's called. The Archangel Shard. But you got 1 less strength, you got 1 less AP. You do 3 damage against Chaos, and you do 4 damage against Chaos monsters. So if you really want to upgrade a Captain Gravis Armor Sword, that's what I would go with. I would go with Archangel Shard. He also has Gravis Fighting Styles, which, if you've got Gravis Fighting Styles, arguably you might be better just going to Mastercraft the Bolt Storm Gauntlet, because that'll give you a 3 damage Bolt Storm Gauntlet, and you'll get about 7 or 8 attacks with it, because you get extra attacks with the Gravis Fighting Styles, I believe. So it might be better to just do that and have a 3 damage weapon. You've got a guy here that just says armor. I think this is all just about the Gravis Captain, is it? It's a bit strange. Okay, then we've got a Primaris Tech Marine. Standard. I mean, I don't think there's many options you can take on a Primaris Tech Marine, so that's that. For troops, we have Assault Intercessors, and it's a 5-man. You've got a Power Fist / Hand Flamer and a Sergeant. You would be better with a Thunder Hammer and a Plasma Pistol, probably, in my opinion, on the Sergeant, but it's minor. You've got a second squad that actually has that Thunder Hammer and the Plasma Pistol, and then you've got a squad of Infiltrators with the Helix Gauntlets. which is the right call for the infiltrators. You've actually got a 4th troop squad, which is Helix Gauntlet infiltrators as well. You've got a 5th troop squad, which is a large squad of tactical marines, 6 regular tactical marines, the sergeant with a power fist. I think he can take a free combi weapon at the moment as well, and then you've got one with a special weapon, which is a plasma gun. The sergeant doesn't. I think the sergeant can take. So you've got like 8-man tactical squad. Then you've got another tactical squad. Holy shit, you got way too many troops, dude. Like, you got 2 assault intercessors, 2 infiltrators, 2 tactical squads. Like, I'm playing 2 troop units. I always say troops are called troops for a reason. They don't, you know, elites are called elites for the reason. If you want to kill stuff in battle, you want elites. Elites will kill just a lot more effectively than troops. This tactical squad is 7 guys. Then you've got like a heavy weapon, which is a missile launcher. A special weapon, which is a flamer. And what's the sergeant got? I don't know what app you're using to make this list, but this app is horrible as well. Try download Battlescribe and use that, because this is way too verbose. And then you've got a plasma pistol on the sergeant with a chainsword again. You could probably put a thunderhammer on the sergeant for free. You've got an apothecary, Primaris apothecary, who's been upgraded to the chief apothecary. I think the only reason to upgrade to the chief apothecary is to pay the 1 CP to have the selfless healer. If you're not going to do that, I don't think I would bother upgrading them to the chief apothecary. I think the strength of upgrading the apothecary is because you can do a revive every turn for 0 CP. You got a Redemptor Dreadnought with Stormbolt or Rocket Pods, Plasma, Onslaught, Gatling. That's fine. That's the best way to equip the Redemptor, in my opinion. You got the Sangre Ancient here for 110 points, with an axe and a bolt gun. He could take an Infernal Pistol for free, which I think would be better. He could also... I feel like the Sangre Ancient's kind of pointless to take unless you're taking Relics and Warlord traits on him. And also he's going to be kind of pointless to take in this list because you would need to have more than 1 jump unit. Like, I typically say, like, Sangre Ancient, if you've got less than 20 jump marines, is possibly not worth it. So in this case, I would say he's 100% not worth it. Because you just got 1 squad of Sangre Guard. It's only a 4-man squad of Sangre Guard, which is tiny. If you're going to run 4-man, I think you would have to have Infernal Pistols on all of them. And even then, that might be iffy. I would run no less than 5 with 5 Infernal Pistols. You're stripping and repainting your Death Company. Okay, if this is all the model... tell me, Blood Angels Chaplain, is this all the models you have at the moment? If you use the Burning Blade on the Gravis Captain, don't use the additional attack. You probably would lose some of the additional attacks, actually, yes, from his Gravis fighting styles. That's a very good point. So you'd probably better... you'd probably be better doing the Mastercrafted Boltstorm Gauntlet, like I said. Robert says it's nice to see the Joy Toys are keeping up with authentic mold lines. Did they release some new Joy Toys? I saw something on Twitter the other day, but it was in like Chinese or a language I didn't speak. Evening Gitley, how are you? Does the +1 to hit help any of the other units? I mean, it helps the it helps the Sangre Guard a tiny bit, but it's too little. I think the lists that are doing the best, from what I've seen in the current season, have 4 jump pack units, and that's what I ran this week against Colin's Demons of Chaos. I ran 2 Sangre Guard and 2 Death Company. I think you can probably... I think before that I was running 3 Death Company, but I think probably 2 Sangard, 2 Death Company, and then 1 or 2 durable units is what I would recommend at the moment. I think some people are still on, like, I think I've seen a few lists where it's still like all fast moving jump units. I think that's really high skill, and if you can play it well, then go for it. But I wouldn't be running more than 2 troop choices, maybe 3 at an absolute push. I also would be running much more mobile characters, in that, like, characters on bikes or characters with jump packs. And then I would probably not run the Ancient. Like, the Ancient is brilliant if you give him Rites of War or the Wrath of Baal, but you need to have like 20 jump units for him to make sense. Because if he doesn't provide any real big buffs, then he's basically the cost the same as Force Angry Guard. He's only 10 points cheaper than Force Angry Guard. So if there's not a lot of units for him to buff, and in this list there's really just Force Angry Guard to buff, so I think you'd be better off in this list with just 4 more Angry Guard than a +1 to hit on Force Angry Guard, if that makes sense. I don't see the point in Joy Toys. I think it's just, they're cool if you want to sit them on a display case or something. Seraphin, I'm good, thanks for asking. Yeah, fair enough. It's been a busy weekend, actually. I'm kind of tired, but I'm good. Do you think troops will be more attractive for 10th for Marines? I think they might be less attractive, Miles, because they might lose sticky objectives, honestly. So, not my favourite list, Blood Angels Chaplain. Maybe in 10th edition, like Land Raiders with Terminators, Land Raiders with Blade Guard Veterans will be as good, if not better. Probably as good as, probably not better, but probably as good as our jump units. So maybe that's something and you need to work towards. If you only have 1 squad of Sangry Guard, then I would get another squad. I think I have 30 Sangry Guard. They're very good. And when the meta shifts, and the meta shifts all the time, at some point you're going to want like 10 of them. You're going to want them armed with different weapon options. Magnetize them if you can get them. And also, at the moment, I don't leave home without a couple of squads of Death Company, just because they're the only unit that's really... Well, I guess Vanguard Veterans can run Thunderhammers, and you know what? I do have a bunch of Vanguard Veterans made with Storm Shields and Thunderhammers. Just the point of a Thunderhammer jump pack unit in the Blood Angels is like, he's just going to jump in, kill something, and then die. So, I mean, a Vanguard Veteran will do the same, just not as effectively because he has less attacks. Do I think a Proteus is a worthwhile purchase? It's going to be really hard for me to recommend units when everything's changing in like 4 weeks' time, 5 weeks' time, Mac. Thank you so much for subscribing. I appreciate it. I think Land Raiders are going to be good in 10th edition, like based on what we've seen. I know the Proteus has the ability to get an invulnerable save at the cost of troop capacity. Based on the fact you can now put Blade Guard Veterans inside Land Raiders, and I suppose it depends on, like, will the Proteus have an assault ramp? And I think the Proteus carries 6, right? So, like, you could put 6 Blade Guard Veterans inside a Proteus and give it its invulnerable save. A Land Raider with an invulnerable save is pretty nice. It's still got... I suppose it depends on what the weapons end up looking like. Oh no, the Proteus carries 10. My bad. Okay, so yeah, you could put 2 squads. So yeah, the Proteus might be really good. It might be one of the best options, but we just don't know. It's too close to the end. I can't make. If I tell you the Proteus is good right now, it's literally me guessing. Like I can't tell you if it's good or not. I'm sorry. Come back in a month's time and I'll tell you. Evening Dark Ginger. Gitley says it's crazy to think this time last week I was a Warhammer Fest, got a few weeks until my last 9th edition tournament, gonna miss this edition. Fair enough, Gitley, I'm looking forward to the end of this edition. I don't think it's been very kind to Blood Angels, to be honest. How did you do at Warhammer Fest? Hello Hadley, how are you doing? Thanks for the help with Impulsors, Predators, and Vindicators yesterday. Did someone... I don't think I gave you some help, did I? Can you move after getting out of transport in 10th edition? Some vehicles let you get out. I don't think... The Impulsor has a rule where you can disembark, I think, and shoot, but you can't disembark and charge. The Land Raider Crusader might be really good, yeah. I mean, the regular Land Raider looks like it's been increased in capacity, so the Crusader could really have increased in capacity further, right? I plan on running Land Raider with 5 Terminators coming at the beginning of 10th. I mean, I think I plan on running a Land Raider with like 12 Blade Guard Veterans. I'm going to buy 3 more. I already got 8. So maybe like 12 Blade Guard Veterans, 2 big squads of 6, maybe even attach a lieutenant to both of them or something. And But I understand Terminators inside a Land Raider that could get forward across the battlefield are going to be a lot more scary than Terminators that are in Deep Strike, because 9-inch charges are crap. I suppose it depends if Blood Angels get a strat that makes our 9-inch charges more reliable, because we used to have one in previous editions, but we lost it, right? Cool, Foz is in the house now, so let's have a look at your list next, Foz. It's a boarding patrol list. So we've got a couple of regular lists, we've got a couple of boarding patrol lists tonight. Gitley did pretty well. He only lost to a Team England player by 4 points. Beat 2 Votan, Astra Militarum, and Orcs. I lost to a Team England player by 4 points and to Space Wolves. Oh, Space Wolves can be really tricky for Blood Angels, man. Their fight last, their fight on death, all that sort of shenanigans is very tricky for Blood Angels. I get it. I lost at the top table of an event against Space Wolves, where if I won the game, I won the event. And then after that, I took Gilliman against Space Wolves, and what's ironic is the list with Gilliman destroyed the Space Wolves. It was such a good list. Gilliman was a monster into the Space Wolves. I just loved them. I hope we can play Gilliman in the new edition, because his bolter got a lot better, and his bolter is really good at killing 2-wound Marines. Okay, here's the boarding action list. It's not overly competitive, but it's thematic. So my thought on boarding actions at the moment is you want like minimum 4 squads or minimum 4 units. 5 might be better, but might be really difficult to fit in. And I was thinking about this the other day. I think Mephiston in boarding actions is going to be pretty cool. Using them as a beat stick, which is these 3 powers: Quickening, Unleash Rage, Wings, potentially makes him really interesting. He has a lot of points at 125, but I think he could be pretty cool in boarding actions. We've got a squad of Blade Guard, which I like. The 105 points in boarding actions. I would run 1 or 2 squads of these for sure. We've got Death Company Intercessors with a Thunderhammer and a boatload of Chainswords. I guess that's just a very killy squad that you wouldn't have to do, just run into the enemy's face. And then you've got your durable Terminators with Storm Shields, Thunderhammers, Lightning Claws. So this is a pretty interesting boarding actions list. I guess you're 15 points out here, which is a little bit sad. So you you'll get an extra CP or something, right? Because you're on the lower points probably. But when I was thinking about boarding actions, I was thinking like 2 Blade Guard plus a squad of like Incursors as a backbone, 205 point Blade Guards. The Terminators, for me, I haven't played boarding actions yet, so I don't really know how I feel about Terminators. I think the way I feel about them is they're quite expensive in terms of 165 points. So by fielding the Terminators, you're pretty much gonna guarantee you're only gonna have 4 units. So I guess you have to play some boarding actions and decide if you feel like 4 units is enough. If 4 units is working for you and you're winning games, great. If it's not working for you, then I think the Terminators have to be the ones on the cutting board, because 165 points is just too much. And you could probably do 2 squads of 3 Blade Guard for like 105. Werewolf says, hi, perfect stream for me. I'm just starting my first Marine chapter ever, Blood Angels, thinking about Flesh Tearers chapter. As a start, we'll have a full Indomitus set and coming in Leviathan. Well, welcome, Werewolf. We do Flesh Tearers content on here occasionally. I actually have some Flesh Tearers lists. There was a really interesting Flesh Tearer list from Warhammer World, the Warhammer Fest, I think, that ran 3 Brutalis Dreadnoughts. You know, I'm probably going to be filming a new video tomorrow night, because I usually film my weekly video tomorrow night, and that one is, so I'm gonna cover that Flesh Tearers list in the very near future. So it's kind of, I think it was Seth plus 3 Brutalises. I think it's the highest rated Flesh Tearers list I've seen doing an event in a while. We don't know if we'll be able to play Rebute Morgo. The reason that we might be able to play him is the same reason that we're able to play him in Arcs of Omen, right? Where it's like, in Arcs of Omen, it's like an addendum in an FAQ where it's like you can include a Primarch without breaking your detachment rules, right? Like they literally, it was in an FAQ. So who knows if there's that same sentence in 10th edition. For me, it seems like it would be a no-brainer for Games Workshop to do it, because if they do it, then every Primarch they release is valid for Marine Army. So any Marine Army could field any Primarch. Basically what Zachary just said in chat, the Primarch keyword might let us play him. So who knows? We might be able to play him. Where I am on boarding actions is we now have all the books. So we have all the rules for boarding actions, and our train commission is about halfway done, so Mike tells me. Mike keeps posting up on his Twitter that he's... Mike actually said to me he's never doing another train commission, so I guess at some point, boarding action... He says it's less than half. Okay, you said... I'm pretty sure you said half. But that's fine. We will get some boarding actions on the channel. I think when I'm doing it, I was originally thinking Terminators, but the more I think about it, I think double Blade Guard and an Incursor squad. 2 Blade Guard and an Incursor squad is 300 points. So that would leave you... I was thinking like maybe 3 Aggressors for 90 points, and then it leaves like 110 for a character. But I guess like if you want Mephiston, and I think Mephiston would be pretty cool because he's quite mobile, and he's also quite killy against like regular... infantry. Is going to hit them on 2s, wound them on 2s. I broke Mike. Yeah, I mean, I definitely did. I'll need to buy him a beer or something when he finishes that boarding actions commission. Alright, so it's a cool list, but I haven't played any boarding actions yet, Foz. So that's just my top level opinion of how I'm feeling right now when I'm going to start boarding actions. Morgo, since you're in the chat, let's look at your list next. Cool. Dylan says, when fighting Grey Knights, how do you deal with their repositioning? I think Infiltrators maybe, they've got Ethereal Castigations, Gates of Infinity, and Army-wide Teleport Strike. That's very true. Infiltrators are worth their weight in gold at the moment. And then, I was going to say, they also have that... I forget the name of the rule, but the rule where you shoot them and they can instantly reposition one of their Dread Knights. Well, 1 second, I'll be right back. The main thing I think when you feel Grey Knights is I would take Soul Warden. For a while there, every single event I went to, I just took Soul Warden because I thought it was such an important power, and there were so many mortal wounds in the meta, like Tyranids. Grey Knights kind of fell out of the meta a little bit. So did Thousand Suns, but the return of demons really made me feel like Soul Warden was super important. I was going to say, Teleport Strike doesn't worry me all that often, right? Like, we know a 9-inch charge, even with a reroll, isn't that viable. Like, if you're doing that, you're basically rolling the dice on a 50-50. And if they fail the 9-inch charge, then you'll just eat their unit alive. So I wouldn't overly worry about Teleport Strike. I guess Infiltrators will be useful, if possible. I think most Blood Angels players in Arcs of Omen are fielding at least 1 squad of Infiltrators. I think you can field 2. That's my general thought. I haven't played all that much Grey Knights, though. Am I right in thinking that the painting competition is closing this Friday? It's closing on the 12th. So yeah, I think it will be this Friday. The guy I commissioned my 3 sets of boarding actions, I also broke. Why do you need 3 sets of boarding actions? What are you building, a fucking Space Hulk? Alright. Hi John, I'm giving Grand Tournaments another go to say goodbye to 9th on May the 22nd. I think it's great that you're giving them another go, Morgo, because here's the thing, you're like, I went to some events in ninth edition where I felt like Blood Angels were a pile of steaming crap, basically. And if you go to an event like that where you kind of know you're not going to win, even if you get really favorable matchups, like Blood Angels had a very small win. Like, you know, there was a lot of armies that can just score 100 points every game in ninth edition, and Blood Angels were rarely that army. But I still think you can learn, you can still make friends, and you can get comfortable playing tournaments. And I think once you feel comfortable playing tournaments, then I think how you approach tournaments can be totally different, and you can just approach them to have fun. So I think it's good that even if you had a tough event, I wouldn't give up on tournaments after one or two tough events. And also like, yeah, I mean, I guess I think people like I've had some of the most competitive games I've ever had of Warhammer at tournaments, but I've also, although they've been the most competitive games I've ever had, they've also been like some of the most enjoyable games I've ever had, and some of my opponents like a mutual level of respect with those opponents that I don't like. You know, when we do our weekly game live on stream, and I'm not saying I don't have a level of respect for my opponents that I play on stream, but it's a different sort of thing where it's like you only see this sort of person at a tournament, and you know they're going to be a really tough game, and you're like testing yourself against them, and if they're, you know, you hope, or at least in my case, you hope that they play the game to the same level of integrity that you play the game, if that makes sense. And for me, that's win or lose. Um, that's where I have probably the most enjoyment. I played a guy at a tournament, one of the hardest games I've ever played, and we actually drew 84 all, but we'd actually both kept score individually, and we'd both taken no prisoners or something, and it was a ridiculous game with everything dying, and we had to count the no prisoners stuff like 3 times. Because one time I had me winning by 1 point, one time he had him winning by 1 point, the third time we counted it, it was a draw. And like the TO was actually annoyed at us. He was like, "You should have kept the score on one piece of paper." And I was like, "Well, we're doing fucking no prisoners. It's really difficult when you're doing no prisoners to remember like every single model. Keep the count. You know, normally what people do is they get to the end of the turn and go like, oh, 10 things died. Let me count that out for you, you know? So yeah, it was kind of funny, but yes. All right, so it's good that you're trying it again. I really want to take Dante out with some fun, but I'm not sure if I'll manage to play all 5 games. Secondary will be Codex Warfare, Oaths, and either Relentless or Behind or Shock. Codex Warfare seems ambitious. Okay. I've never taken Codex Warfare on Blood Angels. I don't. It'll be gone by the time the next tournament, 10th edition tournaments come. It'll be long gone. I go to a smaller tournament before going to GT. Yeah, I mean that's true. But if you've already booked to go to GT, you're going to GT, I guess, right? So we got Dandy, who's got Heroic Bearing. We got the Primaris Chaplain on the bike, who's got Exoration of Rage, Canticle of Hate, Icon of the Angel, Rites of War. Part of me wants. Oh, weird! It's duplicated this part. I was gonna say, part of me wants to say take Litany of Faith. For protection against mortals. Sometimes I find in tournaments, like, as much as Exoration of Rage might be useful, sometimes it's better to take the lowest common denominator. Like you might run into a bunch of armies that do like mortals, so sometimes having the ability to get the Litany of Faith up can be very useful. I think against didn't my chaplain this week on the battle report Litany of Faith, didn't that save him against the Bloodthirster and let me angel sacrifice in an additional turn or something like that? I can't remember. I think it did. I think the 5-up mortal protection saved me in the past. Anyway, you've got the Sanguinary Priest with a jump back and the Teeth of Terra. Teeth of Terra on the Sanguinary Priest, to me, tells me, like, this is a much more offensive build than I'm comfortable running my priest. I feel like with the priest I run armor Indomitus, but I guess Teeth of Terra gives them a bit of firepower or melee combat power. I'm usually trying to keep my priest alive, but I guess maybe it's just a different way of playing. You're going more offensive with a priest. Alright. We got Death Company with Infernal Pistols and Power Swords, ×1, and then 4 Thunderhammers. Then we got the really cheap Death Company with Infernal Pistols and Power Swords. We got a Leviathan with 2 Graflux Bombards, and we got another Leviathan with the Siege, Craw, and Drill. Interesting. If you're doing Codex Warfare, it does make me think that you want... I was going to say, I don't even know if any Leviathan weapons are... I was going to say, maybe you want the... No, I think the Volkites and the Leviathans are heavy, actually, aren't they? Leviathan Dreadnought. It's been a while since I ran a Leviathan, actually. Everything's heavy. The only thing that's assault is a melta gun. Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, I guess in your melee Dreadnought, make sure you've got double times melt... Like, you can put 2 melta guns on here, right? Each drill and claw arm can have a melta gun on it, if I remember correctly. Where is it? This model's grabs can be... 1 lead claw... Yeah. Okay, so make sure you've... It doesn't say it here, but you've got 2 times melta guns here. Okay. Then you've got Sangre Guard with 6 Infernal Pistols, another Sangre Guard with 6 Infernal Pistols. You've got the Eradicators, I guess that's 4. With the Melta Rifles, you know you can get a free The Eradicator's multi-melt is free, right? Or is it 10 points? I never actually ran the multi-melt with the Eradicators. I'm sure it's free. Is it free? Or does it cost 10 points? Yeah, it's free, right? So you can get a free multi-melta on your Eradicators for 10 points. I'd probably do that just because why would you not take a free multi-melta? Thank you so much, Sauce Dude, for becoming a member. I appreciate it. You want them to be assault weapons? Alright, for your Codex Warfare nonsense. Okay. I guess you've got your bolters on your Gladiator Reapers as well for Codex Warfare. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, the overall though, I mean, like, list composition doesn't look, you know, if we talk about having 2 fast jump units, sorry, 4 fast jump units, 2 Death Company, 2 Sangre Guard, and then 2 durable units. I mean, Leviathans are like in 9th edition, they're probably the most durable thing that we can get. Where can you find lists from Warhammer Fest? They are on BCP was where I found them. If you really want that Flesh Tears list, Werewolf, join the Discord and send me a DM. I'll send it over to you. Sauce Dude, thank you so much for the gifted subs, man. I appreciate that. Welcome to the channel, by the way. I'm not sure we've met before. Have you changed your name, or are you someone newish? Okay. Gitley says I love Teeth of Terror on the Priest now. It gives him a real threat and purpose after the first 2 battle rounds. See, when I used to run the Priest, I used to try and give him Angel Sacrifice at some point with Armor Indomitus. But yeah, I guess Teeth of Terra works. I haven't been playing the Priest. I don't think I played the Sangre Priest at all. I played him all the way through Nephilim, and then in Arcs of Omen I never played the Sangre Priest at all. Been watching the videos for a while, love the Blood Angels and your content. Well, I appreciate it, dude. Thank you so much for the support. Maybe more assault. So he's got two Reapers. And each Reaper in half range, which is 15 inches, will get 16 shots from a strength 4 -1 damage bolt rifle, which isn't bad. And then he's got the meltas as well, and they're all assault weapons. He does 2 meltas on Leviathans, which I guess he could fire in a very specific way or order. Yeah, you know, the only other thing I could think of here that might be good uh, would be like an assault squad with melta guns, or assault squad with flamers, or a stern guard squad with a bunch of like combi plasmas. Um, or but yeah, I mean, I guess I don't take Codex Warfare. It's a really interesting thing. I think you might get strung up a little bit in like the tactical doctrine. So it might be like you can get quite a few points in the heavy doctrine, potentially. And then you might be able to get quite a few points in the assault doctrine, but I wouldn't linger too long in tactical, I guess. Uh, I, yeah, Codex Warfare is really. This is why I'll be happy for a new edition, because like Blood Angel secondaries and Arts of Omen aren't great. We haven't had like 3 really good picks at all in Arts of Omen, in my opinion. Um, so it'll be interesting to see how we do in this new edition. Good evening, Dirty Wizard. How are you? Priest can be an auto include, but I mean, the one of the main reasons to take the priest is to get units into assault doctrine early, right, Gitley? I mean, that's the main reason I see to take the priest. So if you have plenty CP, or if you have other ways, I feel like it's not as important. Good evening, Highland Phoenix. How are you? Good evening, James. You can see that Flesh Tears list in action on Liam Dempsey's channel. It's the co-host Joe's list. Oh, was it really? Okay, cool. Liam, what's Liam's channel again? He's given me a shout out before. That's embarrassing. I do know his channel. I do watch it. I am subscribed. I think is it just called Liam? I'm feeling very put on the spot here. Oh, his channel's just called Liam Dempsey 40k. So probably if you go over here and click videos, you'll probably be able to find. Probably just search. Don't do that. Probably just press Control F and type Flesh. No. Oh, or is Battle Reports live? Do you have to click over on live? There you go. That's probably it. Streamed 3 weeks ago. Flesh Tears v Admech. Well, there's a shout out for Liam. He gave me a shout out before on his channel. Nice guy. He always calls me the British Airways commander. Obviously, I'm not affiliated in any way to British Airways. Does he not? Does he post the list somewhere? I don't. Maybe he posts the lists. There you go. 3 Brutalises. This looks like a squad of assault intercessors. That's a conversion, is it? With an axe. There's a lot of conversions here, actually. Maybe you just need to go and watch this list. Or watch. It's got guys with double swords? What the fuck are those? I don't think Flesh Tears can take double swords. Okay. Cool. Yeah, no, I was watching Liam 8 like loads. Like 6 months ago. I haven't caught him much for a while. I think the problem is like most weeknights, most of the time he's streaming, either I'm streaming or yeah, I don't know. I was watching him loads for a little while. Is that sort of conscious thing where you stop doing something, but you don't really have a reason for it. So it must just be that either he's not syncing up with me or whatever. Cool, but no, Liam seems like a stand-up guy, and he gave me a shout out a couple of times actually. Cool, yeah. I mean, it's an interesting list. It's something that I would probably play. Like I've run double Dreadnought lists to tournaments. I haven't run double Reaper, but I think it's cool as well. I do like the toughness 8 on the Reaper. How many CP you got? Does it say at the bottom? 1 CP. Okay, so you're a little CP starved. I might be willing to drop Dante's Warlord trait just to have a little bit more CP. I might also be willing to drop the Teeth of Terra to have a little bit more CP. What's the logic behind having both guns on one dreadnought and the drill and the claw on the other? Wouldn't you be better just splitting one gun on each? Like, yeah, I guess that's my only question. If I was running 2 Leviathans, I'd run them both with a grav flux and a melee weapon, and I'd just march them both up the middle. Because, like, if they're shooting everything at your Leviathan, can you drop the trait on Dante? Thought it was mandatory. It isn't mandatory in Arts of Omen. If you don't want his Warlord trait, you just don't spend the 1 CP on him. It was mandatory up until Arcs of Omen season, I think. And then they made it that, like, you basically don't have to take your Warlord trait if you don't like it. Because that's why I was using Guilliman, because Guilliman gives me 3 CP. So I start with 9 CP, and I don't need to take Guilliman's Warlord trait, which buffs Ultramarines anyway. So basically, like, that's why I wasn't running a Sangre Priest, because I was just basically starting on 9 CP. Bigger base is better, you don't need heroic bearings, as Sauce Dude. I still don't have my Dante. Apparently it's not coming till the 12th now. It's getting ridiculous, but I guess the double-sized base basically almost adds, I suppose. What was he on before? He was on a 32. He's moving up to a 50. So I guess it adds like an inch to his default aura. I thought Guilliman's Warlord trait was mandatory. Not with Arcs of Omen's rule. I mean, it's the same with everybody. So with the Arcs of Omen, you don't have to pay the CP for Guilliman's Warlord trait. Why would you? It's, he's a Warlord, same as anyone else. Oh yeah, nobody was running him on a 25mm base, Gitley, right? I mean, he was supplied on a 25mm base in the 90s, but surely most people had him on a 32mm base, right? Are Death Company Power Swords the new Death Company Hammers? Death Company Hammers and Death Company Power Swords both have a place, in my opinion. The swords, because they're so damn cheap, in that you can get 5 guys with 5 Infernal Pistols and 5 Power Swords for 150 points. 15 points. Sorry, 115. And then the hammers, obviously, because that can give you like 25 attacks for 3 damage and can kill anything. I was running him on a 25mm base. You were doing yourself out of 7mm of aura then. You guys know that you can buy base extender rings on eBay for about £3 or £4 for 10 of them. And you literally just put your 25mm bases, like you just push fit them into the 32s. And when you're done, you can take that model out and put another model in there, right? They sell them on eBay. If you need the link, I'll put it up on the thing. I honestly prefer axes to swords. Lots of toughness 5 in my meta. Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could go all power axes. Power swords seem to be the key thing that people take. But yeah, I don't really rate heroic bearing. I've barely ever used it. I barely ever fail leadership tests. I feel like I'd save my CP and yeah. Okay. Mike's been running Dante as a converted Ragnar. Mike, you're a legend. You like the tiny base. Okay, you get him into more fights. Fair, I suppose. I've always run him on a 32, I think. I can't even remember. I think the only character I had on a 25mm base was Tycho, and I just bought one of those base extenders for him. Good luck stopping his base fitting places. Okay, alright, you're metagaming that way. I'm the opposite. I like big bases because it gives me bigger auras. That's one of the reasons I like the captain on the bike or the chaplain on the bike. Because those big bases just add inches to your auras. He's on a 50mm base now, I believe, but I don't have him yet. I'm hoping he turns up this week. You got any more questions, Morgo, or we'll move on to the next list? Yeah, I'm excited to paint the new Dante, I really am. I'm excited to get him. It's getting ridiculous now. I don't even know when he released. I've been waiting for him so long, it feels like. Primaris Dante is on a 15. Yeah. Cool. But yeah, this is the reason that I might drop the heroic bearing, I think, would be because I like to Furlong Fury any game I go first, usually. So if I go first, I spend my 1 CP in Furlong Fury, the game starts, I have 1 CP. Assuming that the enemy goes second, then I have 2 CP, so straight away in the enemy's first turn, I have 2 CP available if I need to interrupt combat, and then I like to be able to keep sort of 2 CP throughout the game, so that's why Guilliman's been working so well for me, because it's just like I got so many interrupts, I got so many defensive stratagems. It'll be interesting to see how much they normalize CP, because what I've heard for 10th edition is we're basically just going to get 1 every command phase, so is it just going to be like 12? Or are we going to get... Remember, like, there were some factions that had ways of just auto... Like, Tau almost had a way of just guaranteeing you got 5 extra CP with that Ethereal, where it was just like, roll a 2-up in your command phase, and a 2-up you get CP. And I was like, Space Marines don't have anything like that. Okay, so we've done Morgul, we've done Blood Angel's Chaplain, we've done Foz. We're going to do T-Punk next, and I know this is a boarding actions list because I looked at it just before we came on stream. Okay, I am feeling much better, thanks. My kids are ill now, actually. I have another boarding actions list for you. I've built this as a strike force from the White Dwarf 486. For this detachment, you aren't allowed to take troops, but you can have 6 unique stratagems like making any unit obsec in your movement phase until you're in command phase. Hit rolls of 1, 2, 3 fail during the fight phase on a unit. Manifest 1 additional psychic power from either discipline the psychic doesn't know, and also have a unit heroic intervene. Okay, cool, interesting. What was this detachment called? Sorry, the I can't say that. Ralian detachment. Alright, so it's a Primaris Lieutenant with Might of Heroes, Null Zone, and 4 Sword. The one thing that you need to remember with Might of Heroes, and you maybe know this, is Might of Heroes only hits 1 model. If you cast it on a unit, like if you cast it on your aggressors, it only goes on 1 model in that unit. It isn't buffing the whole unit. I think my Dante comes on the 12th. You finally getting a Gladiator Reaper, are you, Highland Phoenix? Cool. We have I think you can take an Infernal Pistol and can you? No, if he was firstborn you could take an Infernal Pistol, but because he's Primaris you're not allowed? Man, that sucks. Why do Primaris have these silly restrictions? Primaris Librarian. So the firstborn librarian for sure can take an Infernal Pistol for free. Literally for free. The Primaris guy gets screwed, apparently. The firstborn is 80 points. He's going to have 1 less attack and 1 less wound, isn't he? Yeah, 1 less attack, 1 less wound. Man, I hate how some of these Primaris restrictions work. Anyway. Aggressors with Flamers. Blade Guard. Death Company with a bunch of Infernal Pistols, Power Swords, and Thunder Hammers. Interesting, I wasn't sure that we would see many Thunder Hammers in boarding actions, because I feel like... Well, I guess Thunder Hammers are good at killing Terminators, but I was going to say I don't know how many 3 damage high toughness enemies we're going to see inside boarding actions. And then you've got the Assault Squad with the 3 Meltagons, the Combat Shield, Infernal Pistol, Lightning Claw, and a couple of regular guys. I gave the Primaris the Artificer Armor enchantment for a 2-up and a 4-up in Vun for survivability. I mean, that makes total sense. You can get 3 casts on a turn, so you can use the strat that can make himself or 1 close unit a monster in combat. Again, just remember Mighty Heroes just affects 1 model. Blade Guard, like you said, just tested them with last week and they hit hard, but have a great bulk as their shields, Flamer Aggressors for the Overwatch. Death Company to trade with the toughest units with Infernal Pistols, Swords, and Hammers, work well against 8-bound and Grey Knight Terminators. Yeah, I mean, I said that, they're going to be good against Terminators. Assault Marines to be a nuisance. The only thing I would say is, like, It's a pity you can't. Maybe you could. Like, would a squad of incursors be good here? Like, does Space Marine sticky objectives work in boarding actions? Because that was the one thing I was thinking was like, if sticky objectives working in boarding actions, that might be really useful. Incursors also have that mine, making it hard to charge them without taking mortal wounds. I thought incursors would be pretty useful. Brad says, new question to everyone. What color do you guys advise me I prime my Blood Angels army? I'm just thinking with a spray can, I'm too broke for airbrush. I think a lot of people probably use the Mephiston red rattle cans. I think there's three choices. I think it would be like a white rattle can, a Mephiston red rattle can, or an Abaddon black rattle can. Bad. I know there's the new Grey Seer paint and the other contrast paint, but I don't use contrast paint, so I'm not the person to ask for that. But I think I basically do what Highland Phoenix does. I spray them red and then paint over them red as well. But I've also done white before, or like Wraithblown, the light white, and spray over them as well. Typically, if I'm doing black guys, I'll spray them black. If I'm doing red guys, I'll spray them red. If I'm doing gold guys, I spray them black, then I spray them gold. I mean, you can paint the gold on or whatever, but I feel like it's always going to just be quicker. Yeah, so overall, I think I like this list. I was going to say, Might and Heroes and Null Zone probably seem like okay powers. I'm trying to decide if I feel like Unleash Rage is a better power. I do like Unleash Rage a lot. I think it's one of the best powers that Blood Angels can take, but this is probably fine. I wonder if there's a play here about like dropping a single Thunderhammer. I think you could replace it with like an Infernal Pistol and Sword and take the Incursors. I think I might prefer that, but I haven't played any boarding actions yet. I'm still waiting on my train, so when I get it, if you've already sprayed them grey, then no, you're probably going to want to put down a base coat of red anyway, depending on where you're going with them. So like it doesn't really, as long as they're primed, it doesn't really matter. I'll give you a good example is like, see if you're trying to paint yellow helmets. Yellow is a fucking nightmare to paint over red. If you're using Games Workshop yellow, like Averland Sunset, it's an absolute nightmare to paint over red. You need about 10 coats of yellow to get full color coverage over the red. So like I might spray the whole model red, but if I know they're gonna have a yellow helmet, I'll paint their head white. And I might even give it like 2 coats of white, just because like trying to paint that yellow over the red is an absolute nightmare. So like as long as they're primed, and then you decide where you're going, that's absolutely fine. There's an interesting list, Punk. It is 5 units compared to the other one that we looked at earlier in this list, which is 4 units. I think I like having more units in boarding actions. I think that's going to be better, but hard to say precisely without having played. Do sticky objectives work in boarding actions for Space Marines? I imagine they would, right? Does anyone know? You can OBSEC and secure a site with any unit for 1 CP strat with the Strike Force. You're locked out of all troops. Oh, right, you're locked out of troops for the Strike Force. Then okay, then this is fine. Then I guess I don't see any real tweaks you could make. The only tweak I suppose you could make is you could have. No, I don't suppose there is a tweak you could make actually. Cool. I mean, it's 5 units, which is nice. I think the aggressors are going to be pretty decent in boarding actions as well. Yeah. Grey is not a bad choice for primers. It's Turkey. The other thing about Grey, if you're trying to save money, I believe I've heard, if you're here in the UK, I've heard that Halford's Grey paint, like car paint, the spray can, I assume it's for cars. A lot of people use Halford's Grey. It's like $4 a can, so it's like a lot cheaper than the Games Workshop stuff. I've actually just started moving on to Color Forge spray. Just Google Color Forge spray. There you can see I've been here. So their cans are bigger than Games Workshop, and they're cheaper than Games Workshop, and they also have... They're endorsed by Vanguard Tactics, that's how I find out about them. But they have somewhere on their website, a color match chart for Citadel colors. So like if you wanted to match, like, I guess, like I spray maybe Corax white sometimes, then I'd be looking for Color Forge matte white. If I sprayed Mephiston red, then I'd be looking for Color Forge sanguine red, right? Dermot confirms Halford's Grey is great. What's it called? What's the Halford's Grey paint called? Like, is it just called Halford's Grey? I'm sure I looked at it before and it was like $4 a can or something. These ones seem a little bit more... Grey primer. Okay, it's $6 a can now. Is this it? Anti-rust primer grey. Do you know what? Those cans are a little bit smaller than Games Workshop ones, and these are 300 mils, and the GW ones are 400. But the GW ones are double the price. So I guess like if you bought a few Halford's Grey, you're probably saving money, right? Okay. Last list of the night then is from It's Thorpe 52. I bought a can of Color Forge spray for Mike, who was doing my boarding actions commission, and he said it seemed decent. I haven't tried it myself, but I did order a can with my Dante, so whenever it comes next week, I think it was white I ordered. Or maybe it was red. I can't remember what color I ordered now, because I ordered Dante so long ago. That's bad that I ordered Dante so long ago that I forgot what I ordered with him. You're more than welcome, TM Punk. Hopefully I give you some piece of advice you can actually use. It's very difficult for me to give advice on boarding actions. I do really want to play boarding actions. I'm looking forward to it. It's a bit weird because I guess that's, like when you do a commission, you spend all the money and then you just have to wait a while. And that's the way that commissions work generally. The last commission, because my commission guy flaked on me before Mike, like, I'd given him money and I was waiting like 9 months, and I ended up just messaging him and like, are you ever going to finish this commission? Like, just send me what you've done because this is ridiculous. But no, Mike's been really good for me. So why is Dante so late? I have no idea. It seems like at the moment, all the pre-orders from Games Workshop are just like, they're massively lagging behind. I'm actually kind of getting a little bit worried about 10th edition box set. Like, I really want the 10th edition box set. I also don't want to have to sit here and fight with a website, because like when I was ordering Dante, the website was crashing. Like, I logged in at like 10 to 10. I got my Dante ordered at like 10:15, which was 25 minutes. But like for the first 10 minutes, the website wasn't even loading. Then it was loading, and like when you clicked on the thing and added it to your basket, you had to refresh about 4 times before you saw it in your basket. And then eventually I got all the way through to the payment screen, put in my card details and everything, and clicked pay. And then that timed out, and I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, so like, has it taken my card payment, or is it not taking the card payment? So I just put it in again. Like, I figured that if it had taken the payment twice, I could phone up a bank and say, like, they've taken it twice, and paid, like, filled in all my card details for a second time and paid a second time. So, like, I thought that I ordered my Dante pretty early. Like, I was there. I must have been one of the first people that got ordered because their website was, you know, the Games Workshop website was down, the Element Games website was timing out. I really don't want to have to go through a battle for this on like 10th edition and then be like, aha, well, you ordered yours at 10 minutes past 10, so you aren't going to get yours for 6 months. I'm like, ugh, kill me. Anyway, let's look at this list. We've got Dante, and it's the new Dante. He's the Warlord. You can see here that he doesn't have his Warlord trait, which we just mentioned a few minutes ago. We've got the same Chaplain with the Mantle of Strength and Canticle of Hate. He has the Vox of Spiritum. And what's the Warlord trait? He's Master of Sanctity, Rites of War. Yeah, this is the guy. So 9-inch bubble for Vox, 9-inch bubble for his aura, and 9-inch bubble for potentially rerolls to hit. And then you've got the Sanguinary Priest with Cheap and Cheerful, no Warlord trait, no nothing. I'm getting 2/10, and I'm going to eBay one for like £60,000 as Fox. I mean, you joke about it, Fox, but it's ridiculous. The new Kill Team box, I tweeted about it yesterday. I tweeted about it. And I mean, the only reason I'm tweeting about it, if you guys follow me on Twitter, is because, like, I kind of want to raise visibility to some of the nonsense that's going on, right? And let me show you this tweet. This is the tweet from yesterday, right? Like, scalpers are not a problem. Also, this Kill Team box that came out yesterday morning, I actually don't know what this box cost. I imagine it was like $150 max. It's $550? Like, so 10th edition box is going to come out for $150 to $180. We know that. Within an hour, it's going to be on eBay for like $600-700. Kill Team was $110. So yeah, 5 times RRP on eBay within an hour, basically. So I tweeted this just because, I mean, if anyone wants to retweet it, go ahead and retweet it. I would appreciate it. We need to get visibility on this because it's fucking ridiculous. Like, I have 2 kids and a wife, and I'm the only person in this household that works. So if I miss out, let's say I miss out on the 10th edition box, I can't spend £550 on it on eBay. I just have to miss out on it. I'm sure there's other people like this as well, that, like, you know, your money is budgeted. It's not everything has gone up in price at the moment. I think our food shopping here in the UK used to be £70 a week. It's now £140 a week. It's literally doubled. That's with like electricity bills and all sorts of nonsense. So it's like people doing this it's just dickish. These people don't, like, do they even play Warhammer? Do they even care? Or are they just trying to make $500 off Warhammer players? Like, pisses me off, in fact. So yeah, I mean, if I tweet aggressively about this, you can just feel free to ignore it, or you can retweet me. I saw Valrak put out a video today or yesterday. I haven't watched it yet. I do watch a good amount of Valrak's content. Valrak's gaming room's actually looking pretty cool. But I haven't seen that video. Alright, you got Infiltrators with the Helix Gauntlet. Hopefully he's saying the same thing as me. Hopefully he's saying, yeah, I saw the Lion was 150. Sorry, no. The Lion was £65. And honestly, once sold on eBay, John, for over like 350. Because on eBay you can see completed sales, right? Like, there's a button you press on eBay to see like things that actually sold, right? Like the Lion, and the Lion 40k is probably fine to just search that, right? And then you scroll down here and you go completed items. So like, well, okay, so here's a Lion. He was £65, probably 55 if you bought him for a reseller. He sold for 3 times value. There's an even higher one. I think there was one that honestly sold for 300 and something. Can you see the complete items by? Can you search this by cost? Sort by highest price. Sold for £717. Say what? Jesus. Sold for 355. Sold for 310. 26 bids. 23 bids. So genuine people that wanted this Dark Angels Primarch were having to spend 5 times the cost. It's ridiculous. It's so the genuine players are getting screwed. Is all I'm saying. And I think there's got to be a better way. They can. I talked about this like a year ago and said like there's got to be something they can do in the Warhammer app, or there's got to be somewhere where you can say my favorite armies are. Insert some armies, so in the pre-order days, the people whose favorite armies are coming out are not getting screwed. Danny thought about putting a line on eBay. I mean, the problem is people will pay it. People really want these models. You know, like, who pays that? I mean, people, I don't know, like, imagine if, like, Blood Angels just got a rare model that's out. People find a way, but yeah, it's really disappointing. I really want them to fix the pre-order thing. Like I said, I'm a little bit scared about 10th because I really want 10th edition, and I'd like to just get it for RRP, and I'd like to not have to wait 6 months. But who knows? Anyway, the sex list: Blade Guard. Times 3. I actually like the 3-man Blade Guard squad. I think it's versatile. It's useful. You've got Death Company with 5 Thunderhammers. You've got Relic Terminators with Combi Bolters and Lightning Claws. I also think the Relic Terminators with Combi Bolters and Lightning Claws is a pretty useful squad. I would have put a couple of Chain Fists in here just to give the squad a bit of like a bit of versatility, but I mean, you don't have to listen to me. I'm just giving you my opinion. We got 2 squads of Sanguinary Guard, all swords, all bolters. I think right now, because the Infernal Pistols are free, the Infernal Pistols are infinitely better than bolters, but I get it. Infernal Pistols might not stay free. We might end up going back to all bolters. You've got Vanguard Veterans with Lightning Claws and Storm Shields. Lightning Claws and Storm Shields are good. They're kind of pricey for what you have to pay, in that like each guy is like, I think... Oh, I was going to say, is there jump packs here? Yeah, and jump packs. They're kind of pricey for what you have to pay. They're decent, though. But at the moment, if you're trying to save points, you could go, like, Power Swords and Storm Shields. I believe the Power Swords are free in these guys, which would save you, like, 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It would save you, like, 30 points. But maybe there's not too much you can get out of this. You've got the multi-melt attack bikes. I like the multi-melt attack bikes. Obviously, you've got the Priest there, so you can heal and revive them. You've got a Tornado, Assault Cannon, Multi-Melta, and then you've got a Gladiator Reaper. We're seeing a lot more people take Gladiator Reapers these days. Lion is having a lot of fun painting the new Dante. Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting the new Dante. £300 is the price people will pay. You want to fix it. Take made to order instead. Yeah, I don't know why they don't take made to order. It feels like a win-win, right? Because like if they took made to order, then there would be no... It would kill the scalpers, man. You know, like if they get like 1,000 orders as well, it would mean less waste. Because like they would just make the exact number that people wanted. It's meant to be 4 Infernal Pistols in each squad, and the Vanguard Veterans will combat squad. Okay, interesting. Yeah, so you've got the 4 fast-moving units, arguably 5 fast-moving units, I guess, when you combat squad the Vanguard Veterans. You got attack bikes, you got Land Speeder, you got the Gladiator Reaper, you got Dante and the Chaplain on the bike, you got the 1 squad of Terminators, you've got the small squad of BGVs. I think overall this is a pretty nice list. I might be saying that if it was me, I do like having 2 troop choices. I think having 2 troop choices helps with secondaries, but I always take data. I think data is a safe scoring one. Pretend you have the latest Space Hulk box. Do you paint those hella cool Terminators, or do you sell it as the premium? It's funny. I have the Space Crusade box, not Space Hulk. Space Crusade. I have Space Crusade and Cellophane, DWK. So I mean, I could put that on eBay for some serious money, but I'm not. I don't know what I'm doing with it. I'm not scalping it, I guess. Um, yeah. So I've got like, what year did Space Crusade came out? Like 94, maybe. So it's been in cellophane for 30 years. Yeah, it's pretty rare, I guess. Um, I like Vanguard veterans with lightning claws and storm shields. I do like them myself. I think I've got like 10 of them made. Maybe not quite 10, but like 8. I also sometimes run like a double chainsaw guy in the squad just so I can take casualties on a super cheap model because sometimes that's nice to have the ability to do so. I like everything else. The only thing I don't like about your list is the lack of the whirlwind. Because I like being able to disable Overwatch and I like to make the enemies fight last. And in some matchups, I think that's super important. Like if you had all Infernal Pistols, though, I would go all Infernal Pistols on Sandguard. Like I said, I'd maybe put a couple of Chain Fists in here just to give the Terminator squad a little bit of variety. Are you not allowed a free special weapon on this Terminator squad as well? Like, could you have not have taken like a? Ooh, what could you have taken? Relic Terminators. I actually don't own a Relic Terminator squad. I'm gonna get one at some point. The Volkite Charger actually wouldn't have been too bad. The Reaper autocannon, I can take it or leave it. The Plasma Blaster, maybe. I think I like the idea of the Volkite. I like just spitting out mortal wounds, I guess. I think you could take a special weapon in here. Are Plasma and Scepter still busted? They're good, but they're kind of expensive. It's a bit fucked in that Plasma and Scepters cost more points than, or they cost the same points as a Land Speeder. A Land Speeder is toughness 6, 6 wounds. A Plasma Scepter is toughness 5, 3 wounds. So 1 more toughness and 3 more wounds. I don't know. I don't rate Plasma Scepters at 60 points a model. Space Crusade is just so iconic. You painted your Dante that way. Oh, cool. Are you entering your Dante in a painting competition? Yeah, so I get what you're trying to do here. It's a very punchy, attacky list. I guess it'll have a weakness, though. It'll have, like, if you run into an enemy that's got a lot of fight last, potentially also if you run into an enemy like World Eaters where there's a lot of fight on death, maybe you can get away with it because you do have a Gladiator Reaper. Gladiator Reapers are very good into World Eaters, actually. When I played World Eaters at a recent tournament, the Gladiator Reaper was kind of my MVP. But yeah, holding objectives might be a little bit tricky. And having just one squad of troops maybe makes some of your secondaries a little bit tricky. High Infinite said he would prefer a Whirlwind and another squad of infiltrators in this list. Yeah, and I mean, I guess that's... To do that, you have to lose a bunch of the Vanguard veterans. Vanguard veterans with Storm Shields are going to be usable. They are going to be mobile. That's the way I wanted it. I basically do like a yearly painting competition. At this point, you've got like 5 days to enter, so you're probably just missing out on it. Death Guard could be a problem with this list. I mean, multi-meltas into Death Guard are good. I suppose it depends on if it's a melee Death Guard list or if it's a shooting Death Guard list. Because Death Guard can build some decent shooting lists with Plagueburst Crawlers and what's the other thing they've got? The Mythic Blight Haulers. Mythic Blight Haulers and Plagueburst Crawlers probably make probably make quick work of your attack bikes. But I mean, in terms of like running 2 Sangry Guard and a Death Company and a squad of Terminators and a squad of Blade Guard vets, like I've run this a lot. I've probably also run this with basically those same 3 characters, probably like 2 squads of troops, just because and sometimes I'll go infiltrators and cursors just based on points, and I also like incursors for forward deployment. Players callers were a lot stronger before. How do you enter the competition? There was a video on it. I don't know. If you search YouTube for Blood Angels painting competition, you'll probably find it. Like that was the video for it this year. But there was one last year as well. There'll probably be one next year as well. So yeah. I found it very difficult to not have the whirlwind in 9th edition. A bunch of games, I think maybe like 1 or 2 tournaments I dropped the whirlwind, and then just ran into some bad matchups where I just felt like I really needed the whirlwind. The whirlwind is a weird model in that like sometimes it will do nothing and it kills nothing. Like it's got no damage output. But then some games you'll roll hot, it'll actually kill things, and its suppression fire will be worth its weight on gold. So I guess it's 125 points. I really thought they were going to make it better in one of the balance data slates, or cheaper. They never did. But I guess the end of 9th edition is right around the corner, and I can't imagine the Whirlwind keeping the same strat, so probably the Whirlwind is going to be retired. I guess we'll see, right? Death Guard is actually better than you think. Majority is damage 1. Reroll wounds helps a lot of thing, and the ability to jump pack lets you pick fights. The thing about Death Guard is if they make a death ball with the fight last not count as charging guy. What's his name again? The Foul Blight spawn, and they put the relic on him, it can be horrific for Blood Angels. Is there anything else that does the same job as the Whirlwind? Not really. Suppressors do a similar job, but only against infantry. The Whirlwind has been a very useful model for me. The guy that won LVO with Blood Angels, he had a Whirlwind in his list, right? People used to make fun of me as well for running the Whirlwind, and it turns out like one of the biggest events ever in 9th edition was one with a Blood Angels player with a Whirlwind. So it's like, okay, yeah, make fun of me. I love it when someone uninformed comes into the chat and it's like, you're playing a Whirlwind, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. I'm like, alright, dude, sure. Thanks. Mind you, I also occasionally have people come in chat and tell me, you played Dreadnoughts for Blood Angels? That's not Blood Angels. I was like, excuse me, I've been playing Blood Angels Dreadnoughts since the 90s. Don't gatekeep me on Blood Angels Dreadnoughts. The Whirlwind better suppression fire? I don't think it will, Highland Phoenix. I honestly think the Whirlwind is a firstborn unit. I don't think it's gonna... I feel very unlikely that because they're basically saying you're getting 6 stratagems per army or per detachment, and they're much more tweaked, and then there's like 12 shared stratagems. I expect the Whirlwind will be gone. A little bit sad, but I mean it's had a good run in 9th edition. Who knows, it might come back in a future edition once they start adding back all the codex creep and nonsense like that. The Razorback might come back in 10th edition. I was thinking about that, DWK. I don't own any Razorbacks, but the Razorback does have the ability to have twin las cannons on it. We know las cannons are going to be pretty useful. It's pretty cheap. It can carry troops, arguably Blade Guard veterans. I was thinking maybe... This is why I'm never going to finish my Blood Angels army. And this is why it's pointless for me to buy models for other... I have a few models for other factions, but I also have a lot of models for other games, like non-Games Workshop games. It's almost pointless for me to buy them, because I buy them I maybe make them and undercoat them, and then like 3 years later, I still haven't put even an hour's worth of paint on them. Against the Fight Last and Death Ball, I took Relentless Assault and ignored the middle and stomped their enemy. I mean, that's true. Should I buy a Redemptor? Redemptors aren't bad. I imagine Redemptors are still going to be pretty good in 10th edition. You might be better holding off and waiting for the Brutalis to get its own kit. Because I think Brutalis is going to be very, very melee combat orientated. I did a video on the Brutalis. If you search Blood Angels Commander Brutalis, watch that video, Bad Francis, and that might help you out. Alright, it's Thorpe. You got any final questions? I like the Rites of War pick. I like the Box of Spiritum pick. I wanted to run Dante myself now that he's become better. Hey, David. I like the all Thunderhammer Death Company. I like Terminators. I think they're good. I think they're going to be even better than 10th. Yeah, I mean, the only thing I think with this list is like it goes on secondaries for me. And I feel like one of the secondaries I often take is Shock Tactics, and one of the secondaries that I often take is Retrieve Battlefield Data or Raise Banners. And I think another squad of Phobos Marines helps me do that more than the Vanguard Veterans. The Vanguard Veterans are going to kill stuff more, but I think that Phobos Marines maybe provide more utility. The Whirlwind definitely provides more utility. So I guess it just depends on if you feel like you don't need the utility and you're just going to kill stuff. But I suppose it depends on how you score around that, right? But saying that, we're basically a month away from all secondaries, everything changing. So I guess we'll talk. You know, I'll have videos out and all the new stuff whenever it comes. Thank you so much for the list submission. We've got one more submission that I haven't covered tonight. I'm not sure there's going to be a Sunday show next week. I might be playing a game on Sunday. In a change of schedule, we'll see. Whatever happens, I'll post up a community post or something this week. Tell you. So next Saturday and Sunday, I've got some things going on that are a bit different. So not entirely sure what's happening. I'll try and post up and let you guys know. There should be a painting stream on Thursday. There should be a tactics video on Friday. There might be a game on Wednesday. If there's not a game on Wednesday, there'll be another painting stream. So I'll be live like 3 times this week as normal. And Saturday, Sunday schedule might change. I'll try and let you know towards the end of the week. Okay, and I guess if there's any more 10th edition previews, we'll cover them in an impromptu live stream, or I'll get another video out on the 10th edition stuff as it comes and goes, I guess. Alright, if there's no other questions, I'm going to take off. Razorback with he said lazy cannons to soften up, plus Blade Guard with Blade Guard Captain, or even Assault Terminators disembarking. I don't think Terminators will be allowed to go inside a Razorback, but I think Blade Guard will. I think they already said that Rhinos, Razorbacks, and Impulsors will have some. So I think basically they'll be saying Gravis, Terminators, and Centurions can't go in Razorbacks, Rhinos. But you could put like Death Company Intercessors or regular Death Company inside a Razorback. I'm convinced when the 10th edition box comes out, which is about a month and a half from now, I'm going to buy the Blood Angel. I'm going to buy the 10th edition box, assuming I can get it and that they're not stupid stock problems. I'm going to buy the Blood Angels cards that come with it, or the Blood Angels cards that come separately, just because it would be nice to have a copy of those. And then I'm going to buy another 3 Blade Guard Veterans to add to this guy that's on my desk here. Which is my Blade Guard Veteran with like my... what helmet's this? This is the beak helmet from the Mark 6 Marines, or whatever it's called. So I'll have... So that'll give me 12 Blade Guard Veterans. I haven't decided, but 12 does fit in a Land Raider now, right? What about the Judiciar? The Judiciary's Fight Last is very... I've heard Fight Last is gone in 10th edition, John. Like, they basically said Fight Last is not going to even be a thing anymore. Which I think is good. I was hoping that they would get rid of Fight Last and Fight on Death. I think both those mechanics are kind of dumb, personally. Because Fight on Death just means you can always counter whenever you get engaged on. And Fight Last means some armies with all Fight Last are obnoxious, or they have... Like, I played Miles Eldar. He's got like 4 ways of making you Fight Last. It's stupid. I played him in a whole game and never even got to fight once with a single squad of Sangre Guard. I had 3 squads of Sangre Guard. They never got a fight. I was like, well, I guess if you never let me fight, because you put everything Fight Last, Blood Angels are pretty weak, right? So I guess we'll figure all that out in the next month or so. I guess we'll see. Thank you so much for watching tonight, guys. As always, if you enjoyed tonight's stream, please hit the like button. I'll be back a few times this week, as always. Appreciate the super chats. We're almost at our May members goal already, which is nice. I actually increased my goal. So in the last few months, I've been looking for 5 new members. I've increased it to 6. Because I'm that ambitious. I feel like we can get 6 new members every month now. Dukari will be pissed. Yeah, no, I mean, Fight Last and Fight on Death are mechanics that the game does not need, I think. But it looks like the regular Space Marines potentially have 2 ways of fighting on Death in one turn with 2 different units. So let's see if Blood Angels get Fight on Death. It'll be really interesting to see the Blood Angels detachment, and then when the Codex actually comes. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys. Thanks again for being here and hanging out with me for a bit. Thanks to everyone that submitted lists. If you want to submit a list, do so. I know there's not a lot of time left in 9th edition. I think at some point this Sunday night stream might become a painting stream for a few weeks, like the very last week of 9th edition or something like that, because it'd be pointless looking over a list if everything's going to change the next week. But I'm using the time to finish models. Like, I didn't finish anything in the first 4 months of this year, barely, because I had my broken arm. But since my arm's been healed, I think in this last 10 weeks I've finished 5. Just finished this Dreadnought that's on stream, finished some Blade Guard, finished the Terrax Siege Drill, finished the Gladiator Reaper, finished a squad of Incursors. Get your stuff finished for 10th edition, because I guess there's going to be new stuff to buy, and some of your old stuff I think is going to be a lot better. Cough cough, Blade Guard. I think Blade Guard are going to be the dark horses, I really do. Just because they'll go in every single transport. They'll go in drop pods, they'll go in Terraxes, they'll go in Razorbacks. I think it's going to be Blade Guard. And Blade Guard are brilliant for Blood Angels. I guess we'll see where they come out on the other side of the new balance data slates, or new faction rules, whatever you want to call them. Anyway, see you guys next time. Thanks again for watching. By the blood are we made strong. Peace.